GOP Congressman Dan Crenshaw. He's a member of the House Homeland Security Committee and House Budget Committee and a former Navy SEAL. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Great to be with you, too. Yeah, tell us what you know about John Lewis and how he's influenced your life.
Well, I didn't get to know him personally, unfortunately. You know, he does these annual walks where his members of Congress go to the bridge, and he tells members of Congress the stories of that march. And I'm saddened I didn't get the opportunity to do it. The man is a hero. He's an icon for our country, not just for the civil rights movement, but for the American spirit. And I look forward to honoring him this week as he lays in state.
Yeah, among the many things going on, the passing of John Lewis, but one thing that has been with us for the last 6 months has been this COVID-19 virus. But now Texas is getting hit by it in a way many people weren't expecting. Now it's time for another aid package, which many people didn't think we would need. Dan, do you think we need it? And where do you stand between the $1 trillion that the Republicans are offering and the $3 trillion that Nancy Pelosi is looking to give?
Well, it's a lot of money, and it's money we don't have. We're borrowing it from our kids, or we're printing it. And if we're going to spend a lot of money on an aid package, it needs to be targeted well. It needs to be smart. It needs to be towards economic growth, making sure that our recovery is as fast and robust as possible. And right now, we're still seeing a lot of disagreement on exactly what's going to be in that package. So it's a little too soon to comment, but you know, I need to remind people, we haven't spent a lot of the money that's already been passed.
Right.
And so, you know, we need to be careful as we do this.
Congressman, today marks 99 days until Election Day 2020. When you go out, you know, whether it's to Texas or out and about and talk to regular folks, what do they ask you regarding the election, what it's all about this time, what people will be deciding upon, and what is at stake?
I think a lot is at stake, okay? And my suggestion to the American people is start listening to Democrats. We have to listen to what they're telling us. They talk about defunding the police. They talk about making excuses for violent mobs. Let's take them at their word. They want to destroy the things that bring us together, our common bonds, our founding, our love of country. And why did they do that? Why did they say those things? Because fundamentally, they wanted to dismantle our country and its institutions. That's not my words, that's their words. Dismantle our economic freedom, our border security, our energy sector, all of it. Now, I don't think most Americans want that. I think we want a renewed sense of faith in the country. I think we want to have our kids love our country again. I think we want to restore of faith in our police forces, restore safety in our communities, and we want to rebuild our economy. Okay, we have the greatest economy that our country has ever known. We want to rebuild that. We want to rebuild our infrastructure along with it. So you're seeing a very clear choice in 2020. You know, it's chaos versus safety and security. It's socialism and doubling your tax rates versus economic freedom. It's government takeover of your health care versus keeping the doctor that you trust. It's acquiescence to China versus holding China accountable. These are important themes, and the difference could not be more severe. This is not President Obama's Democrat Party, and people need to realize that.
So, Congressman, we knew that Elon Musk, it was announced that he's moving to Texas. That's going to create a lot of jobs, which is great for the economy in Texas especially. But then we're just learning that Joe Rogan, he got a huge deal, $100 million deal, and he's going to save about $13 million, according to one of our guests, if he moves to your state, and he's announced that he's going to do that. What's your reaction?
Well, you know, Joe's always trying to get closer to me, so it's really not that surprising. But on a serious note, you see this a lot because things work in Texas. And again, this goes back to what's at stake in 2020. Vote for places that work. Okay, Texas understands that limited government, more freedom, not less, doing things that work, that don't just feel good, but that actually work. It's a good recipe. See, there's certain economic foundations, political foundations, and cultural foundations that make a society more prosperous and free. And the states like California that are always pushing towards some, you know, socialist utopia, they tend not to work because they're not really taking care of their citizens. They're always talking about equality and justice, and yet they have less of it. And so they're fleeing to places like Texas.
Lastly, we only got 30 seconds left, but Antifa, do they exist? Because some Democrats don't think they exist.
It's amazing,
Republicans
isn't it?
are bringing it up because it's a distraction.
We'll have security hearings with the FBI and the Homeland Security Committee, and I will hear multiple Democrats question whether Antifa even exists. I will hear that in the halls of Congress. It truly is unbelievable. And I say, guys, if you're not sure if they exist, there's hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of videos of them. They wear a uniform, basically. They have a symbol. Yes, they exist. Yes, they exist. They're, you can call them anarcho-fascist, communist, whatever they are. In any case, they're basically a domestic terrorist organizations. Okay, they're destroying property. They're hurting people. And they fundamentally want a revolution inside the United States of America. And we can't sugarcoat this anymore.
Congressman Dan Crenshaw from Texas. Sir, thank you very much for spending a little time with us today on a wide-ranging interview. Thank you, sir.